Before we get very far into our next story, we do have a warning for you tonight. What you're about to see and hear may not be suitable for children. Tonight, take a walk in their world.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Transpicuous News. It is June 30th, last day of June, and we're going to do a geomagnetic update. I know I haven't done one of these in a while. Last 24 hours has been a little bit insane. And again, one of those things on the feeds, on the geomagnetic stuff, seeing stuff that we've never seen before or very, very rarely, and the pieces don't add up. So I want to walk you through this. We're going to do this as quick as we can. Yes, lots of graphs to look at. Take a look. Again, like I said, this is really, really strange stuff. Okay, so we're going to start off looking at, okay, the magnetosphere. The first major event happens at just around noontime UTC yesterday. Okay, so I'm not going to play all the videos. I'm going to kind of cut and show you the various pieces. We're going to do it one at a time here because I got a lot of things to show you. So we're going to fast forward. Everything's pretty normal. Wait, hold on. There's the one we want. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. Everything is pretty normal. Don't really see anything unusual going on. Everything's about the way it usually is until we get to around, hold on, fast forwarding. We get here to about 10:41. I'm going to start playing it. Now, as I've said before on various updates, we keep getting gaps in the feed. And for the last 24 hours, it's like half hour here, half hour there, 45 minutes here. Just randomly disappears out of the feed. Okay, so we are at 10:41 yesterday morning on June 29th. You can see there's one of our gaps, and here comes the first wave. I'm going to back this up. I'm going to take it frame by frame because this is unlike anything I've really ever seen before. Okay, 11:58. I want you to look at this. We've seen waves come in. We've seen the big geomagnetic, the solar wind streams come in and just pummel the magnetopause and the magnetosphere of the planet. We've seen it before. We know the colors. They usually come in the reds, the oranges, the yellows, blue and green. Now watch this as it comes through. And I want you to watch the shape of the shock wave as it goes by. Okay, we see this coming through. Everything expands outwards. Now watch this unique, you can see it's pushing up and out, almost like a diamond shape where it's pushing up and out to the sides. And this is a huge blast. Okay, everything starts to calm down a wee bit. But this kind of goes on. Now, before we go any farther than that, that is the initial blast at 12 noon yesterday. I want to show you it over here. Make sure I've got the right one. I've got so many fields up. Okay, so we're going to go through here. This is, we're looking at the magnetopause. Okay, so quick explanation. This line here represents our magnetopause. The shield, if you will, around the planet that helps to protect Earth from the radiation from geomagnetic storms, solar wind streams, etc., cosmic rays. This white dotted line that you see in here is the path of the satellites. This little dot in the center here, the half black, half white, represents Earth. Okay, white side being daytime, dark side being nighttime. Sun is over here. Our dotted lines are showing us the positioning of the two satellites that are taking these measurements there and there. Now I want you to watch as we move up to this blast at noon. I'm going to fast forward us here. And it doesn't help that we have a massive chunk of info missing again, about half an hour. It got cut out. I want you to watch. There's magnetopause, and it's going to cut out at 11:21. Next one we see, our magnetopause, this is when the hit comes in, has been pushed all the way from out here to it's literally on the satellite orbiting area. That's how far in it gets pushed. And then we have the blowback from this, boom. And you can see where the magnetopause is getting crunched from all the pressure. But this is incredible. And I've talked about this. We don't often see these kinds of just wild erratic patterns on the flip side, on the opposite side. Okay? Now, I'm going to take us back over to here. Now, before we go any farther, I'm going to show you the same one on the hit. Hold on. This one here is a different look, okay? We're seeing the magnetosphere, and this is the solar wind velocity. This number right here tells us how fast the solar wind stream is coming in. Now, we'll pull it back. This is our blast coming in again. Boom, here it comes in. You can see it's a different view of how that blast and the shock wave comes through. Solar wind speed, 433 kilometers a second. That is just low, middling low. And it never really increases. It hovers between 350 to 450 for the entire time of all these events that we're going to run through. Okay? Now, I want to fast forward to last night. It didn't stop at 12 noon. So I'm really glad. I was going to do a recording last night. I'm kind of glad that I got delayed and couldn't get it out because it just gets that much more interesting. We're back here looking at the magnetic sphere, the magnetic field lines here. We are just before midnight last night. Okay, and I'm going to show you again. You can see there's a lot of rippling. There's a little bit of action, nothing extreme until we get to just after. There's the first wave come in. Let me just hit play. You see small wave, and then the big waves are going to come in. Now, if you watch, and notice another dead zone there. When we're going into 1, 2 o'clock is when the big waves start coming in again. Boom. Now, if you look, all the blue lines, which are the IMF lines, the interplanetary magnetic lines, are pushed all over the place. They're not even connected in the tail. Here comes the next blast at 4, 5, 6, and you can see we are seeing the South Pole cap lines are being snapped. The IMF lines are all over the place. And this continues through all this morning. Again, we have a big jump, about an hour's gap. Everything looks like it's calming down, and it is just continuing. As you can see, we're now at 10 o'clock this morning. And you can see the magnetic field lines are really being pushed. Look at the odd directions that they're being pushed in. We see them being blown back out, but then we can see them being warped and bent into different areas. Push north, push south. Okay, and again, I'm going to show you over here. Go over here, and we're going to show you the same thing again here, so we can see the solar wind speeds, 342. Doesn't even go up. This is not the solar wind stream causing these blasts. Here we come in again, the big blast, 324. It goes on. It reaches up to, I think, about 460 at one point, which is nothing. These are really, really low numbers. So what the hell came in? What was it that hit us at noon like this and just blasted everything? What was it? I'm going to show you. You go to spaceweather.com. There's no solar wind stream. Next solar wind stream, Earth is passing through a relative void between streams of solar wind right now. Go over here to SolarHam. I'm going to show you. There's no corona. We have no geo-effective coronal holes facing us. Interesting little piece, though. This is our solar wind speeds. So this is coming into just as that first blast hit us at noon yesterday, and right afterwards it drops. Literally almost flat line down. The density which is literally, you know, like how much particle these solar particles are coming in towards us, is nothing. It is literally flatlined at the bottom. Which takes us to that question. So what hit us? Wasn't solar wind stream. There was no coronal holes. The coloration of what we saw in that first blast with the blues and the greens coming in, highly, highly unusual. I have never quite seen a blast that looks like that. So I have to ask the question again. Do we have the right measuring sticks? i.e., we have these satellites up that measure things like all these, the proton flux, et cetera, magnetic field lines. But what if this, what's coming in, is something we don't have a measuring stick for? And what we're seeing on these graphs is not the energy, the blast itself, but the effect of that energy coming in and how it's affecting the other things that we can measure. I don't know. Interesting though, in my group we've been talking physical, what's been going on. I was wiped out yesterday afternoon. Would have been about an hour after this first big explosion. I was dizzy. I just couldn't concentrate. I really felt quite nasty all day, headachy, etc. This morning, I've spoken to several people now who've had really, really bad headaches, backaches, neck aches, feeling very nauseous, feeling ill, and it's all come out of the blue, just boom. So what was it that hit us? I don't know. I'm going to be monitoring this very, very closely for the next couple of days because this is still ongoing right now. We'll see where it goes, and if this continues, I'll put out another report very, very, very soon. Check out the link to the article, which will be in the description down below the video, and so you can go take a look at this information. I'll have the links in there. You can go take a look at it. Anyone have any brilliant ideas? Feel free to message me. That's it for me. I will talk to you guys later. Ciao.